Right, hello everyone. Just thought I'd come live from the workshop tonight. This is more about a test, some equipment really, but I thought I'd do you a quick, well, maybe I'm just going to leave it running actually to do a full test. But anyway, hope you can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up or a like in the comments later on, or even in the live chat. I'll be monitoring this on my phone as well. I've got a couple of things I need to do later. I just need to bug out shortly. I'm going to leave this running. I just need to monitor it remotely to see if it's working or not. Just to let you know, that workshop side, that's basically my workshop side on that side. You never really see that in the videos because that's always behind the camera. So what you're seeing is always this area here. Anyway, let me get rid of some of that as well. Just put a bit more light on here. Right. Hopefully that works out. Do that. Extra bit of light in there. There we go. A bit more light. That's better. Do that. Do that. Thing I need to do. I've got my Imperial Allen keys, which I got there the other day. Just need to put these up. Right, okay, try bounce the lights off the ceiling. There we go, let's try that. Is that a bit better? I'll have to see. May not work. Yeah, so I haven't really got any light on my face. It's really for that. It's really just to test the connection, really, guys. But anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop out now. I'll be back shortly. But if you want to ask any questions, I'm going to monitor it from my phone as well. And then when I come back, I'll come back in here. I should be about 20 minutes or so, something like that. But this, in the meantime, this is going to be one of those weird, you know, just stare at a blank wall kind of videos. But anyway, bear with it. But anyway, there we go. Right. Finally catching you live. Hello from Tennessee. Hello, Joe. Hello, Joe. So this is more of a test. So in about half an hour, 40 minutes, I'll come back and I'll go through a few things with you. So say nothing's really going to happen right now for the next 40 minutes or so, but I will do it. So this is the workshop layout anyway. Right, and then we'll get the lighting sorted out as well. Hopefully that might work better. Right, okay. We'll try that out. Okay, I'll see you guys in a minute. All right, in about half an hour. I'm going to leave this running anyway and see how that goes. As I say, this is not really a proper live stream for Harleys. This is more about just testing the live stream for different projects in the future. All right, I'll see you in a bit. By the way, all these blankets, you might not be able to see, there's lots of blankets here. That's really just to block out the daylight when I'm doing the videoing. But anyway. There we go. The dark sweater, I know, terrible. Funny, another medic from halfway around the world. Drex Softail, hello there, Hannah. What do you do then? I wonder, are you a sort of a paramedic or a EMS tech or something, are you? Cool. Right, anyway, I'll catch you on the live chat. I'm just going to pop out and I'll be back in about, as I say, about half an hour, something like that. Ta-da! Hello, I'm back. I am back. Right, hold on. Okay, right. Let's see about taking that off. That we do there. Okay. Right. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Hopefully you can hear me. If you can let us know in the chat here. There's a bit of a delay with the chat and what I'm saying. I think what's coming out live. So I don't know why there's a delay, but we'll see. See how this works out. Right. How's that working out? Let's just try and adjust that a little bit. There we go. Just do that. There we go. I think that works. I think that works. Right, let me just do this. Okay, so great. Thanks very much. I think that's a better picture now. Great. Thanks, Rob. Right, so Rob, the TPMS which I bought, and as you say, there's so many available, but it's this one. Where's the camera? That one there. Maybe you can't see it. It basically just says motorcycle tyre pressure monitoring system, and it's made by, do you know, I don't even know who it's made by. M3B, I think they are. M3B. Yeah, I think the company is called M3B. Do you know? It wouldn't surprise me if they're just like a, you know, some Chinese import. I mean, it's all in. Yeah, I mean, it's all in English writing here. So, there we go. No, there's no company. M3B, I think they're called. Anyway, but that's the packaging. If you ever see it, that's what it is. So that's a tyre pressure monitoring system. Anyway, so that's yeah. I say I'm not exactly sure if that is the name, but that's the packaging there. But they're all the same. If you look at those photos, so the video which I did about the TPMS, they're all pretty much the same. The only one that I would stay away from is the one that is linked to a Bluetooth, your phone, because then you need your phone active and everything like that. It's you know, they're not brilliant. What isn't made in China? Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Okay. So that's the workshop. Everything there. Actually, I quite like this this look here. I quite like this. Right. Anyway, so I wanted to do this live stream here just to test this angle to show you the other side of the workshop where I sort of tinker away. And usually all this here, where I've got my lights and my other tables now, where I do a lot of the videoing, that wouldn't be there because I'd have a bike in here and I'd be working on it or whatever I'd be doing. But you know, in truth, I'm not even working on bikes that often anymore. I sort of tinker a little bit. I just sold an engine, would you believe, a diesel engine, because I was in the middle of building a diesel motorcycle, or a diesel powered motorcycle. And you might have seen a few videos in the past if you're with the channel beforehand, or if you go into the archives. The history behind that diesel motorcycle is that I had a Honda Goldwing frame which I'd bought. Then I got a couple of diesel engines, and I was going to put it, the diesel engine with a shaft drive, into a motorcycle engine and build it that way. So I got a small Kubota diesel engine, and I got that running. And then I changed from the Honda Goldwing. I went to marry up to a BMW K75. So I found a gearbox. Then I was looking for a donor motorcycle to actually bolt it all together. But the problem was with BMW K75s, really, I'm looking for one that's a junker, really. That needs to be, you know, it's almost going to be thrown away and it's not even going to be used anymore. So, you know, I was only ever going to pay about £100, you know, $100 or euros, whatever, for it. But you try finding a BMW K75 for that price, not for love nor money. So the project went on and on and on, and I thought, you know what, it's probably not even a good idea to do a diesel bike anymore, especially with sort of current climate and all that sort of stuff. And I just didn't think that it would ever be roadworthy or put on the road. Well, it could have been, but I thought it would be a lot of time, effort and money, more's the point, to build a diesel bike. And whereas, actually, what I thought I might do is at some point either build a Harley. I always wanted to build a Harley, and I always wanted to build, you know, a hardtail chopper. I've built hardtail choppers before, but using Japanese engines. Now I did want to get back to some old school riding and do like a hardtail, something, you know, maybe something with an old Sportster engine or something like that. But I don't know, I've got a feeling that I wouldn't mind investigating trying to build an electric bike as well. I think that'd be quite interesting, and it's, you know, of the flavour, and it's going to be going forward. So I think that's something that I might do in the future. But I'll see. So I'm in no real rush right now to go and build anything. I'm just going to see how it goes. I think the next bike what I'm looking for over winter now is basically an enduro dirt bike. If I can get one for cheap. And then if I can look at doing that up or fixing that up, then I will. Ideally, I'm looking for something like a Harley MT350, the old army bike. The UK, we've got an equivalent of that MT350, and it's called the MT500, which is made by Armstrong. And these are old bikes now. But anyway, they use the Rotax engine. So a mate of mine's got one. He's got an Armstrong. But they're exactly the same as the Harley Davidsons, really. Just basically, you just take the side panel off. Instead of the Armstrong, you put the Harley side panel on. And that's it. It's the same bike, essentially. You know, a little bit. But they were used by the military over here. I think in the US for a while, and around Europe, I think they were used as well. Quite a lot. Back in the day, I should say. Then British forces, they stopped using them. I think they went to CCM, and I think they started using a few Kawasaki KLRs as well for a while. But I'm not sure what they're using now. I think it could still be using CCM, but I've got a feeling that military, you know, services all over the world aren't really using motorcycles as they once were. You know, back in the day, we've got a very famous guy here from the UK. T.E. Lawrence, who, you know, in the World Wars, you know, he was very famous, and in post-World War, you know, he's a very famous rider. But, you know, if you ever heard of Lawrence of Arabia, okay, that's T.E. Lawrence. The real life Lawrence of Arabia was T.E. Lawrence. You know, he's a huge motorcyclist, and he had a Bruff Superior, and unfortunately he died. He died actually in a motorcycle accident, and he wasn't wearing a helmet, and he died of a head injury. So there you go. Whether you believe in helmet laws or not, you know, they say, or the saying is that if he was wearing a helmet or any kind of head protection at the time, he would have most likely survived. But there we go. Anyway, that's a complete tangent. So that's possibly what my future projects are. Where we are right now, here in the workshop, this is where my corner was for building engines and stuff like that. So that's all gone now. So it's all cleaned out, and it's pretty much like I don't know, workshop on one side and a videoing bit here, videoing bit with a backdrop here, stuff like that. You'll be seeing some videos coming out at the end of the month and into next year, obviously, and you'll see this. And what you'll see in the background is this. There we go, look at that. This is a t-shirt, obviously from my shop, as it were. But yeah, look, if you want to go to the shop and get some t-shirts, whatever, that's great. But that's not what this is about. But this logo, RevelatorAlf, you will see in a lot of the black screen videos in the corner. So if you're wondering, oh, what is that RevelatorAlf screen? Actually, it's just a t-shirt. It's just a t-shirt on a black t-shirt on a black background, and all you're seeing is that. Anyway, so there we go. Let me just pop that back up there. Good. Right, anyway, so I've been doing a bit of digging around today about the Harley world. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to pull this chat out. What's that? Separately. No, don't want to do that. That's it, pop out chat, there we go. There we go, brill. Now, somebody want to drop me a chat here just to make sure that it's still working as well. But I say I'll be looking at those chats and seeing if everything's okay. I took the chat off the live stream, but what I could do, I could put that back on, couldn't I? Let's have a look. If that's okay like that. There we go. If I do that, and then if I do this, and if I do that, and if I do that, that. There we go, good. Yeah, so the chat should be on the live screen now as well. Good, right, let me just get back to that. Sounds good here in Calgary. There we go, brilliant. Okay, so good. So the live stream is working and the sound is working, fantastic. Hope you're liking the lighting. I hope we've sorted this out a little bit. Yeah, I know it's sometimes difficult to get light, dark colours as I'm wearing. You know, I'm sort of layered up here. Actually, today in the UK, this afternoon, it was really freezing for the last couple of days, but actually we've got a bit of a warm front that's moving through. We've got some hot air coming in from the South Atlantic. So it's actually quite mild. It's still cold, but it's quite mild still. But I bet you in Calgary, where you are, Rob, it's a little bit white on the ground, I would imagine, right now. But anyway, so that's it really. So I just wanted to do a test of this angle and also test the equipment. Basically, I've got a brand new, just a direct feed, my Ethernet cable, direct feed from my router. That's why I'm able to do this now. I was struggling for the longest time in doing live streams from in here, but now that's okay. Right, so I did a bit of searching around today for Harley news. I don't know if any of you heard about this, but there's a guy in, let me see if I can just bring it up actually. There's a guy up in Indonesia, I think he was. That's it. who's basically going to be, here we go, he's the Garuda CEO sacked over smuggling a Harley Davidson into the country. Here we go. So, now let me just quickly just get the news. It is. I don't even know if I can put this on a live stream for you to show. I'm sure I could. It's from Jakarta, right? So, right in the Far East, say in Indonesia, national airline Garuda will be sacked for allegedly smuggling a Harley Davidson motorcycle into the country and using subordinate's name on import papers to avoid detection, a minister said on Thursday, December the 5th. State-owned enterprises minister Eric Thohir said the airline's chief, Ari Ashkara, allegedly brought over parts of disassembled motorbike on a plane from France last month. So I just thought it was really funny. You know, he's now here's the interesting one, right? So basically, he was smuggling in a motorcycle that was worth 800 million rupiah, which is US dollars $57,000, and he didn't declare it to customs. Basically, you know, if you buy a complete bike, you have to buy import tax and all that stuff. If you're just bringing in parts, you don't, or you don't pay as much, or hardly as much. But I don't think he was declaring any of it to anyone. So there we go. That's I thought that was really funny. But there we go. Rob, it's -7 in Calgary. So crikey. Just a word of warning, I've got some kind of delay. I'm picking up your messages or everybody's chats immediately, but obviously I'm not sure when you're seeing the live stream, because there is going to be a delay of a few seconds, or even maybe a minute, I'm not even sure. So anyway, but I am picking up the messages, so thanks for that. But anyway, I just thought that was a really funny story, that the guy who was smuggling a motorcycle. Now, the pictures, do you know what? I don't even know what the pictures are. If you go onto Google right now, yeah, it's all in parts. I mean, it's hard to see what that is really. It's got quite a nice red and white paint job on it, I got to say. Yeah, no. How can I add browser? Here we go. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's do that. Do that. Okay. Right, so I'm just trying to get this up here for you. Let me just see. Properties. No, that's not right. Okay, let's see if this works. No, that's not right either. Get rid of that. There we go. Right, sorry, I'm just trying to find how I can add window capture. Is that it? Aha, here we go. Safari, this is it. Right, okay, sorry about that, guys. There we go. So this is the story. It's come out of, let me just see where it is. It is the, I don't even know what this is. It's one of a news agency from over there, CNA. and it's got the Garuda CEO. But I don't know if you guys can see this picture of this bike. It's all in parts, sort of single seat. So do you know what well, it's got discs, front and rear discs, spoke wheels. No, is that a Heritage front windscreen? And what are these bags off then? I wonder what they are. Right, so what I'll do, go back to the can anybody tell what that bike is on there? It's on the tip of my tongue. Oops. No, I didn't want to do that. Sorry. Can everybody tell what that is on there? I mean, it's basically channelnewsasia.com, and this is a story. That's where it's coming from. That actually looks. You know, I don't know what that is actually. It's got standard forks on it. Looks. I mean, obviously the parts are all, jumbled all over the place here. I don't know. I mean, it's got engine bars on it. It's got the exhaust there as well. Got the headers. I mean, basically, it's all the parts that you'd ever want on that bike. That's not a WR45, is it? Now that's too new for that. I don't know what that is. I mean, in the article, it doesn't say what it is either. In all fairness. Right, so, okay, let's just get rid of that window capture. Don't need that. And just transition that. Right, okay, so I'm back. There we go. So, does anybody know? Well, it's interesting you say that. I was wondering whether indeed it was an actual Harley Davidson. Because I didn't recognise it. But, yeah. Smuggling the bike versus drugs. Well, yeah, there you go. Metal in both legs. There you go. How are you, pal? Yeah, you're in Yorkshire, are you? Oh, okay, good lad. It looks like an Indian. Do you know what? Let me go back to that. Do you know what? I don't think that's a Harley, actually. I could be wrong. I don't know what that is, but I'm looking at the tank. And I'm not sure that is a Harley. Because the design on the side, it almost looks like. I'm just wondering if there's some kind of generic photo. I mean, part of it, some of it looks very Harley, and then other bits don't. I mean, that's not to say that all the parts here that were seized were Harley parts. They could just be the generic, and they just put them all together just to say, "Oh, look what we found," But I don't know. Interesting. Right. Anyway, so I thought that was quite an interesting story today. That Harley, I've done something there. Also, somebody tried to smuggle in a Harley. Right. So the other bit of news that I wanted to talk about. Apparently, Harley Davidson are opening up a brand new facility in Milwaukee. A brand new, big, massive, mega dealership down there, apparently. And that's going to be... actually, it might have already opened, actually. Hold on, let's have a look here. No. No, that's not that one. No, that's that one. Anyway, so there's a brand new one coming over there as well. Interestingly, I had a quick look on the sales aspect as well on a lot of things. The Asian market is looking the best right now in terms of the best growth. As you would imagine, United States and Canada has slowed down quite a lot, as I talked in a previous live stream as well. But there is more news coming out. Well, not news. I can't really say news because it's not news, but it's more rumours about the Softails, a lot of the Softails and the Sport Glide as well. Interestingly, would you believe, on the video that I did on Matt Laidlaw's Coast Glide, don't know if you saw that, where I just gave my opinions on whether Harley Davidson as a brand would take note of it, would sort of incorporate a lot of the features from that. Well, actually, Matt Laidlaw came on and he commented on the video, which I thought was really nice of him as well, actually. And he was quite complimentary. I thought so. It's quite nice. It's nice to see that he's just won this, obviously, but he's interesting to see what the feedback is out there on what he built from real people, as it were. Not corporate Harley types, but real people. But yeah, I mean that's I'd love to go and I'd love to go to the museum as well, Rob. Actually, yeah, that'd be really good. Anyway, so that's a couple of things. I mean, look, basically, so this was really just a real good test of this link. I just wanted to check this with you guys and say, I suppose I could give you a quick update of the channel. And I'm in the process of, as I said the other night, it's taking the channel in not a different direction, but expanding it. So there's going to be a whole just pure focus on the Sport Glide, on the Softail, by extension a little bit of the Softails. There's going to be another aspect on Harley Davidsons, as in a wider range of Harley Davidsons. Then there's going to be a wider range of motorcycling topics. And then there's going to be sort of events, and I'm going to start getting into more podcasts and things like that, and I'll be doing that as well. Some I may do live, I may record them live from, like with this thing, hello. But others I'll just record and just put them out on the podcast. You can get all that via Spotify, iTunes, and on SoundCloud as well if you're interested in that. But anyway, so there's a lot more stuff coming. So I am producing content as it is, but a lot of this comes down from you guys as well. What information that you want to hear or what sort of videos you want to see as well. So that is one of the biggest things really about doing YouTube. It's not only producing content that hopefully you'll want to watch, and also that I'm happy in producing, or that it's useful to you, useful information, but it's actually coming up with the ideas that sometimes you kind of have to take a step back and just think about what you're doing a little bit, and so that's what I've been doing for the last sort of 10 days really, whilst I've been still making content, and I've been kind of focusing on what's specific to the Sport Glide content and the Softail range content I'll be making. So I've got a few service videos coming out, a few technical videos coming out. I'll see how they do. If they're well received, then I'll make more. If they're not, then I probably just won't. But what I will do, I will make videos when people ask a specific question, or people, even if it's the most relatively simple thing, because I'm a great believer in, actually there's no such thing as a stupid question or a dumb question. If you don't know the answer to something, or you're confused by something, then it doesn't matter what everybody else knows. The fact is that you don't know it, and if you don't know it, then if I can produce a video that helps you out, then if it helps one person out, great. Then if that easy video is also a reference for other people as well, I'm all for that. Whether it's popular or whether it gets lots of views is kind of for this kind of thing, in terms of the technical aspect or servicing aspect of the Sport Glide and the Softails, it's I think that's right and proper to do that. Anyway, so yeah, there's lots of stuff coming. I am in the process, as you might have gathered, of experimenting with a few things. I am trying to save up a bit of money to invest in a bit more lighting and a bit more different cameras. I'm looking to get a different streaming camera, actually, a better one, one that's more responsive to light as well. Looking at different cameras, possibly. I mean, I use on that tripod there. You probably can't see it there. I use when I'm using this backdrop here, which is a black backdrop. I use it's almost like a small SLR camera. It's an old mirrorless camera, but that is quite an old camera, but it works quite well. So I'm in two minds whether to go for an updated version of that or go for a better GoPro. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go with a better GoPro. Still use the same action cams, which I do use, but use the GoPro for better footage and the hyper smooth, so you can have smooth sequences as well. But there we go. There we go. Yeah, thanks, Rob. Suspension videos are coming. Yes, they are coming. There's quite a bit actually on that. It's already been done. It's already been in the pipeline, so that's something to look forward to. So thanks for that. Yeah, there's quite a bit coming on that. Front suspension options and settings, rear suspension options and settings, and also within those videos there are discussion points as well about the viability, or as I say, whether they're kind of worth doing it or not, and what are the pitfalls of having changes in suspension. And it depends on which Softail you have, what things you need to look out for as well. I think if you got a Softail, you're onto a winner at the moment in terms of Harley Davidsons. You're onto a winner. I think where you're at a disadvantage right now is on the Taurus, not because they're bad bikes, far from it. What I think is that they are crying out for a change in chassis frame, and they're crying out for a change in rear suspension setup, and even the front suspension setup. They're just crying out for it. And in fact, lots of people have been talking about, or they were hoping that Harley would come out with a update or a complete change for the 2020 models. I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be increasing pressure on them, Harley Davidson this is, to change the lineup for 2021 of all their Taurus. And I think that pressure is not coming from you and I. I think that pressure is going to come from the likes of Harley Davidson, from internally within Harley Davidson, but also from the other manufacturers, namely Indian, who have got a lot of press recently based upon the Challenger and also their other bikes. I mean, I do like Indians. I don't particularly like their front end, as I said in the review video, which I went around that motorcycle show. I'm not, that way. Don't particularly like it. I mean, then again, I don't like the Road King that much as well, because it's got that same kind of boxy headlight nacelle, which I don't particularly like either. But anyway, so this coming Sunday as well, there I'm attending the first toy run in this area. Well, actually, it's the second one. There was another one which I missed out on last weekend in another town. There's one here, but the one I'm going to on Sunday. 2 or 3 years ago, it grabbed the world record for the biggest toy run in the world. I can't remember how many bikes it was. I want to say 4,000 bikes. I think might have been 3,500 bikes. A lot of bikes, anyway. I'm sure it's one of those things. I'm sure there are bigger toy runs around the world, but to get in the Guinness Book of Records, it has to be officially recorded. And until it's officially recorded, it's not a record. So they were the first ones to call the Guinness Book of Records and say, hey, look, can we make a record out of this? And there you go, that's what it was. So anyway, and they raise money for children's charities and all that kind of stuff here in the UK. So everybody brings presents, and it's nice. And you always bump into people as well. So what I'm going to be doing, I'll be going to that, but I'll also be doing a sort of little vlog around there. I'm hoping to see other sport glide riders as well. As I say, I do have lots of ideas for new videos for next year, but it's based upon having face-to-face interviews or chats on video with other Harley riders, and they've got to be willing to get on camera as well. So, but I've got lots of ideas that'll be more of like an entertaining thing for you as well. But anyway. Right, but unless you've got any other questions, so I just wanted to give you a quick update. Test this live stream as well. I don't even know if anybody's watching now. Actually, oh, there we go. Yeah. Actually, I quite like this light here. I quite like this light. It actually works all right, actually. Yeah. So I just wanted to test everything in here. This all seems to be working well. I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to leave you with the other videos that are coming up now. I'll probably upload Sunday night of the toy run if all goes well, if the recording goes well, and then I've got a few other things in the pipeline before Christmas. So there'll be extra videos on top of the daily midday videos. So there's lots of stuff coming out. And then obviously in the new year, there'll be all the new stuff that'll be coming. And you'll see it in a slightly different format and everything as well. And then as I get new equipment, then I'll expand that range out a little bit. But in terms of the Sport Glide and the Softails, there isn't any new news really on it. So I gave you the information on the live stream the other night about getting new products, new information sources, that kind of thing. That's out there. There is more stuff that I've no doubt next year we're going to hear a lot more about the Softails, a lot more about the Sport Glide in particular, and a lot more. Rob's still here and settings look good, thank you. There's a lot more coming from the Sport Glide and the Softail next season in terms of news. This is, but I've got a feeling the big news next year. I know the Pan America and the Bronx is people are going to be talking about that. I just don't think it's going to have the success that I think Harley want it to have. But I think they're going to be making a big play on their Tourer range because they have to. It's as simple as that. They have to, and possibly that's a good topic for another video, really. But I honestly think that if they don't sort out their Tourer range, they don't sort out their rear suspension and their overall package, their chassis, they're going to come up short, wanting really. And let's not forget the Tourer range is the biggest seller. Certainly in the United States and Canada, because everybody wants a Tourer, you see, and that's it. As soon as they start suffering with sales there, and there have been internal issues within Harley Davidson Motor Company. A few people have got relieved of their duties recently in the last sort of couple of months. I think they're all acknowledging that sales haven't been that great. The live wire hasn't. Whilst they've tried to hype it up as much as possible, it hasn't been that great. The Pan American and the Bronx, in many ways, I think they've marketed those all wrong. In that they should have just either kept them behind closed doors, or when they did bring them out, put out a lot more information about them, what it can do. It's almost been the bits and pieces of what it can do, what they can do, what they hope it will do. But not enough really. You either launch it properly or you just leave it. It's almost like they've drip fed it into the public consciousness and say, hey, look, we've got this Street Fighter, the Street Harley, and look, we've got this new adventure bike Harley. Look, this is what we're going to do. And so people are going, oh yeah, tell me more. I want to know more about that. Tell me more. And then as soon as you go, oh, tell me more, they go, zip, no, you're going to have to wait until 2020 or 2021. And people are going, well, what, So I'm not so sure about the Bronx. I think will be a good bike. Don't get me wrong. In terms of riding, I think it'll be a good bike. But I think it's going to have too much competition from well-established bikes who are just really good. Especially, dare I say it, from Triumph, who make some great bikes like that look kind of similar as well. They're the 675, the Street Triple, but the bigger one, which is the Speed Triple, which is, I think, 1050 or 1150 cc. They are good bikes. Don't get me wrong. I did a review of one. So I didn't really get on with it that much, but they are cracking little bikes. So if you like that kind of thing, that Bronx kind of gets into that category, and I think there's a lot of stiff competition there. The Pan America, I think if they market it right, and I think if they sort out a few fundamental flaws with it, as in the radiator location for a start and the protection for that radiator, I think that they might have a shot at entering a market. Whether they'll be successful or not, I don't know. But let's face it, you've got market leaders like KTM, BMW, Triumph, other big brands like Ducati who do adventure bikes. You've got the Japanese who've got really good adventure bikes that not a lot of people talk about. But you've got the Yamaha Super 10, which is a cracking bike. You've got the Versys from Kawasaki, the V-Strom from Suzuki. Actually, those two, Suzuki and Kawasaki's, they are excellent adventure bikes if you want that sort of stuff. People always go for the bigger brands like the KTM or the BMW, but actually, if you want to ride a bike off road, you'll have a much better time on one of those bikes than those big bikes, I think. And I think if weight is going to be a big issue for that Pan America, if it's too heavy, no good. If it's too flimsy, if things are going to fall off it as soon as you drop the bike, that's not going to work either. And it's just got to be rough and tough, and it's got to be able to get places and come out and be dirty and live to ride another day. It's one of those things. They've got to get this right. They've got to get this right. You had a Triumph XRX, and it was a great bike. FGR has written, yeah. Look, Triumph, Yamaha's, Japanese. This is the problem that Harley have. Other manufacturers are producing great bikes. Now, other manufacturers really have tried to get into the cruiser world, the touring world. Some success, some haven't. But that's always been the Harley-Davidson world. Now, Harley-Davidson are trying to get into other manufacturers' domain, the adventure bikes, the street bikes. They're not going to find it that easy at all. You're going to get people who are loyal to the brand, who want to try something different. Yeah, there's no doubt. But in terms of actually attracting lots of new buyers or new customers to that particular brand, not so sure myself. Not so sure.
Right. Why isn't that working then? There we go. Right, sorry.
There we go. Right. Anyway, but right, that's it. I'm gonna head on out now. Anyway, but it was good to spend a bit of time with you. Anyway, but so if you've got any other questions, so leave them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you anyway. But I think I might do from this angle. Again, actually, I quite like this. But anyway, catch you on the next one, whenever that is. There's lots of stuff coming, lots of discussion points coming up, lots of ideas for the channel as well, which I've got, and about everything really. But anyway, catch you again whenever that is, and leave loads of comments. Keep on sending emails via the website for any questions or comments on videos as well. And that's good. Okay, cheers, Rob. Thanks for that. Right, I'm going to somehow close this down now, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye then.